Yay.
Yay! Here
Are
we
we
are.
live?
We are live. Let's see if I can see it on the.
Hi,
There's David.
David.
Hey, David. Thanks
Woohoo.
for coming.
Our
Yes.
very first.
What is going on?
Welcome, welcome. Um, so not exactly a bunch of people knocking down the door, but that's fine.
Give it a minute, because a lot of people have to either get the notification or, yeah, sometimes it takes a while to get a notification. Oh, good, David. He got the seeds I sent him.
Oh, that's great.
It
What
was the
kind of
giant,
chard?
it was Ford Hook Giant Swiss chard.
Oh.
One of my favorite Swiss chards to grow because
Hey
it
there,
just
Carps.
comes back. Hello, Carps Homestead. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, thank you. 5 people. Yay. So, welcome to our very first broadcast. And thanks to Adrian here at Indiana Backyard Gardener. Hey, Homestead.
Hello, Robert.
Yeah. Yay.
He's knocking down the door.
Yeah, you must have heard me say.
How are you, Robert?
So, Robert is Homestead Aquarius, huh?
Yes.
So, where is everybody? Of course, I'm in Georgia. We know that Adrian's in Indiana, right? So, where are you, David, and Homestead Aquarius? Y'all reflect on Light, who's not saying anything right now, is Charlie, the husband, the better part of this pair here. Oh, Alabama and Indiana. Charlie's from Alabama. Charlie, you gonna
Alabama.
talk about where you from? What you eating? Yum. He's eating the chili I made the other day.
Oh, we served chili at work today. It was pretty good, actually.
You like it hot?
I do like it kind of spicy, but it wasn't, they didn't make it spicy. South Carolina. Carps is in South Carolina. Oh, South Carolina. We had severe drought. I was lucky to harvest what I got.
Yeah,
Wow.
the drought really really impacted our garden too, and our honey harvest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're in another one. Are you all still dry in South Carolina? Oh, he's gonna sing. Are you gonna sing, Charlie? We're the only ones old enough to remember that song. What?
It is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, no singing.
Mm.
If he sang, you could hear him through my mic.
Yeah, it was pretty brisk today.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of wind too.
It was very windy this morning, yes. I came
And
outside and my little seed trays were blown all over the yard.
oh no.
I had to go collect them all.
Did they drop their seeds?
They were the ones that had dried out.
Oh.
Yeah,
What
I
if you
had
put them
no.
back down and wet them real bad?
I did.
Well.
Yeah, I didn't replant those ones. I replanted the ones that were in the 3-inch pots, but I didn't replant the ones that were in the cells. So they were just kind of sitting on the shelf out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this morning they were tipped over, and there was like dried dirt. The I use cocoa coir. So it was dried up and it was on the ground, but it was in like still in the shape of the cells. And I was looking at it and I was like, what is that? It looked like crap. So I'm like, what is that? Like, what kind of animal came over here and crapped in my front of my garage? And I was like, oh, that's the dirt. I said, where's the seed trays at? They're in the yard blown all over. It was hilarious.
Could be worse. You could have used toilet paper.
I I I was like, what the heck was I thinking? Like I thought it was like some kind of animal came and crapped in front of my garage.
Oh, phew.
Hello, Gail. Thanks for
Hey,
joining us.
Gail.
Gail's
So
in
we can go ahead.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas. So we've got people from all over the country here.
It only rained about 6 times since April.
Oh,
Wow.
I just got the alert that I'm live.
See? So other people are just now getting the alert too then.
Okay.
You see how late the alert is sometimes? Like
Yeah,
five,
really.
it's like 5 to 10 minutes.
And then
Sometimes,
after we're done, I'll get the Our Georgia Suburban Homestead was live. Go view the video. Hey,
right.
Cleveland. All right, people are popping in. So do we recognize my mascot? I might have to do a giveaway later in the video to see who watches enough of my videos to know who that is looking over my shoulder. What do you think, Adrian?
That could be cool. That could be fun.
So Cleveland, I guess we know where you're from.
Right. Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's right.
Might have once lived in Cleveland and now could have been relocated. Because if I ever move, what would I do? Change my name? I
Yeah,
couldn't change.
if we go to Florida, we'll probably totally change the name. It won't be a Georgia Homestead anymore.
Right. If I moved, I wouldn't be Indiana Backyard Gardener anymore.
Yeah, if you left Indiana,
Right.
where would you go if you could go anywhere?
The Carolinas.
Oh, well then we can't leave because we have to be close enough to come see you.
The Carolinas. I would do we used to want to move to Florida, but then I've never been to the Carolinas, but something about it just draws me.
South or north?
I think south. Yeah, I think south because it's further south and it's warmer.
I've lived in both states.
So which one would you think is better?
Well, I liked Charlotte because I was showing horses and it was kind of a hub
Okay.
for a lot of the big shows. But I used to go all the way up to Virginia and as far south as Alabama with the horses. But
Wow,
Charlotte,
Alaska? Carbs Homestead said Alaska.
South Georgia or Alaska from that. Talk about a
Right.
yeah. Charlie
One
says too cold.
thing.
What a diverse temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gail's in Tejas.
Tejas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does say Southern, so you would have to say Southern, Gail, to keep your name.
Something tells me she wouldn't be happy further north. I don't know if I'd be happy further north anymore. I started out in Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah. You don't hear Boston on my speech?
Boston?
Boston.
Boston.
We parked the car.
Ah, forget about it.
Yeah, that's New York.
In New York and Boston, it's all the same.
Oh, no. No. Beantown is unique.
My eyes have been
Uh,
itching today.
the people are full of beans. You know, we eat so much seafood in Boston that
Oh,
our stomachs rise and fall with the tide.
closer to an ocean would be nice.
Yeah, the ocean regulates your temperature, your
Oh,
inland
okay.
temperature. So it doesn't fluctuate as much as it would do further inland,
I
which is
see.
good if you're gardening, I guess. You can really plan your seasons better. So, what did everyone grow this year that was surprisingly delicious? Maybe something new. I'm trying to think what did we do that was new that was really good. I'm trying to. I did different color tomatoes. Um, I've got acid reflux, so I can't eat red tomatoes anymore, but I love them. So I said, you know what? I'm going to experiment with the blues and the blacks and the yellows and the ones that never go anything other than green to see if they're lower acid. We know that the yellows are lower acid. And I ended up growing all these little tomatoes that are all about that big. And some YouTube content provider did a video on brown butter tomatoes. Y'all, you got to try this. You chop your onions and your garlic and saute them until they're translucent.
Oh,
Okay.
yum.
You have to use a big deep dish frying pan. And then throw your tomatoes in. I cut mine in little chunks, but you throw them in and you turn the heat up and they start breaking down and going liquid. Okay. Once they start going liquid, you throw in a stick of butter.
Mm.
Oh
A
my
whole
gosh.
stick?
A whole stick.
Wow.
At least I use like Charles can't have dairy, so we use a vegan butter. It's a Earth Balance. So I use like half a tub.
Okay.
Okay, so I figure that's a pretty much a stick of butter, and you turn up the heat real high, and so it gets emulsified, maybe you would call it, or
Like it
it
thickens up?
blends. Yeah, and then you've got your pasta going next door, right?
Okay.
When the pasta's done or to al dente, you lift it out of the water and put it in, mix it in with the
With
tomatoes
tomatoes.
with a ladle or two of the pasta water.
Uh-huh.
And you've got the heat turned up so that the pasta water will cook down. And what that does is it makes the sauce stick to the pasta.
Yeah. The starches in the
Yeah,
water.
right. It took me 62 years to learn how to properly cook spaghetti with sauce. This is the trick.
Yeah.
We liked it so much. The flavors of the tomatoes, some were sweet, some were tart. Um, but when you blend them and you cook them like that with the saltiness of the butter, it's just amazing. We liked it so much. I ended up not preserving any for winter. We ate the whole crop.
You ate all the harvest.
Weekly we had this. And Gail says she can't. Can you understand me, Gail? Do I still talk funny? Oh, so Adrian, you're saying you think of clam chowder? You
Yeah,
gotta,
when I think about Boston.
you gotta say it right. Chowder,
Chowder.
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 Sorry, you don't have good memories of Boston, Gail. Sage is good. Sage tea is good. Charlie is saying,
It's so fragrant.
yes, but you know it's an antiviral.
I know it helps with like menopause and yeah, it's an antioxidant. It helps like oral health, like with your teeth and stuff. I think that's all I can remember as far as the benefits of it. I think it has something. It has some benefits in memory too.
Well, that's not the case because my memory sucks. But
Mine too. Mine too.
yeah, but it tastes really nice as a tea if you've never tried it. It's
I
got a
have
really
never tried it. No,
it's nothing like the smell or the flavor when you use it in cooking, but the tea is really really nice.
I
So
can
Gail,
smell it
what do you,
so
hmm?
strong when I go in the garden.
Let's see. I have to lurk for a bit still here though. Okay, lurk away. Just don't get creepy and flash us. Okay.
Get her mad and it comes out.
Oh yeah, he's talking about my
The accent.
Bostonian accent. Yeah. Yes, Gail, I do cooking. In fact, I've got to learn how to do a playlist to put my cooking videos together. Maybe do some groupings of gardens, crafts, uh, and the cooking.
Gail has a collab, a soup collab.
I saw that. I'm trying to figure out what soup to do. Charlie says I should do my chili. That's essentially a stew.
I did a collab last year. I don't remember who did the collab, but I made stuffed pepper soup.
That sounds interesting. How do you stuff a pepper and then have soup?
It's just all the ingredients of stuffed pepper in a soup.
Hmm. Do
It's
you use
really
any
good.
hot peppers or is it all sweet pepper?
Well, my oldest daughter doesn't really like hot stuff too much, so I don't usually make too much hot stuff. If I do make hot stuff, I'll make hot stuff and then I'll also make like something mild.
Well, that's very thoughtful. My mother was like,
Lovely.
my mother is like, you eat what I cook or you go hungry. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Gail liked the sage. I like my maters. How about you, Adrian? What did you?
Um,
Hey, LP.
well, I brought back the Sweet 100 tomatoes this year and I was very pleased with them. And the Jetstar tomato. The Jetstar tomato, hands down, I love the Jetstar tomato.
What did you like about it?
I like that it is resistant to cracking. It is disease resistant. The flavor is great. There's not a lot of it's a meaty tomato. It's a small one, it's not huge, but it's like a perfectly round, sweet, meaty tomato and I loved it. They did so well in my garden.
Did you have to stake them, or are they determinate or indeterminate?
They are determinate. I did
Okay.
stake them anyway because the fruits were like clustered, so I didn't want them to break off. Plus, we had a couple windy days, and I don't trust the windy days, but yeah, they were really good.
Did you see what LP said?
I grew okra for the first time, and I will be next year. More than one plant this time. Yes.
Hey, hey, we planted a bunch of it, and only one came up, and it came up outside the raised bed.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. And my callaloo didn't do real well, and then hands in the dirt. I hope he shows up tonight. Hands in the dirt says now is the time to plant the callaloo. And okay, I've been doing it
Yeah,
wrong.
callaloo is a cold weather crop.
Well, I don't understand that because it's from Jamaica, and when we lived in South Florida, we grew it year round, and you can't call that cold weather. So I guess it depends where you are. Hey, Margie. Thank you for showing up, everyone. We're talking about what we grew this year that was a delight and why. So, what did you grow this year, Margie, that you enjoyed that may have been different? Reflect on light. How was okra like zucchini?
Because once you blink, it can get too big.
Oh, yes.
Okra will do that to you. Like you'll look at it one day and it'll be nice and small, and you're like, you know what? I'll just give it one more day and then I'll harvest it. And then you come back and it's too big.
It's like that with our tromboncini squash. 4 feet long. You use it as a club.
I
Yeah.
planted some amaranth and I only had two come up.
Huh. Yes, LP, it is an amaranth. Where are you located, LP? So, because of my friend here, Adrienne, being the bad influence she is, I ordered $53 worth of seed from the Ukrainian seed company.
You
Hey, it
know,
was for a good cause, right?
that video, I clearly had a disclaimer in the video in the beginning. It said, watch at your own risk, that it can provoke seed shopping.
I don't need much of an excuse. There's like 14 pages that I moderate on Facebook. Most of them have to do with gardening, and people will ask me a question. Where can I find this? So I start searching and I find it for them. Then I buy it, whatever it is. Even if I already have it, I say, oh, well, I need some fresh seed. So I still have one package of seed to send out for my September giveaway. And if y'all are new to following me, I'm going to do a monthly giveaway. And that is Adrienne and Gail's fault, because Adrienne convinced me, oh, try a collab. And Gail is hosting the most wonderful collab. And here I am. I'm not used to all this technology, and I'm trying to figure it out. And they both had to hold my hand. And I know that in the background they're probably going, "Gosh, what a dolt!" But so I gave people a choice of 5 things that they could win, and my winner decided she wanted the topic of one of my cooking videos, Gail, and how to make vanilla extract. And I made vanilla extract on 3 different types of vanilla beans, one from Uganda, one from Madagascar, and one from Mexico. And I have another type. It's still sitting on my desk here somewhere. Adrienne's seen my desk, so she knows that's how helpless it is for me to grab it right now. And I used Everclear for some, and I used bourbon for others, and vodka. And I'm definitely a vodka fan, because the flavor of the Madagascar beans with the vodka is really good. And the Everclear, everyone raves about Everclear as an alcohol to use to extract, but I don't like the flavor. It's harsh. Anyone
Yeah.
else make vanilla extract have that experience?
Well, I think the Everclear has a higher alcoholic percentage rate, isn't it? Of alcohol.
Oh yeah, and in fact, you have to cut it with water or it burns the beans.
Yeah.
But
So that's
it's just
the thing.
harsh.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even bother to use that.
Hugs and snuggles, F.R. Humphrey. Welcome, welcome. So I've got all this Everclear vanilla. I probably won't use it. Anybody want it? No. So I think I'll send my winner the bourbon, the Madagascar bourbon.
Okay.
It's really buttery and vanilla-y, and
Delicious.
yeah. But I need to do a video on how to take the beans and then make vanilla sugar and vanilla salt.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. Can you imagine it in a flaking salt?
Oh, on chocolate? Mm.
You think that's how you? Okay.
Or on
I'm.
caramel? Like on a salted
Hmm.
caramel? Yes.
You know what? I'm going to send you some, and you have to make a cooking video. And you can make pucker faces if it's not good. I think videos where we're really real and go, oh, that didn't turn out right. I think those would be fun.
Right. Honest
So
reviews.
So Gail is going to be doing pickling cucumbers next year. I can't grow cucumbers here. The Russian cucumbers I sat out. Charlie, are they totally gone? Have the bugs totally eaten them? Yeah, they're totally gone.
Mine too. For the last 2 years, I've gotten no cucumbers.
But snake gourd and bitter melon, I'm your girl. So we grew Indian bitter melon and Chinese bitter melon, two very different looking melons. I've got 3 different kinds of snake gourd. So you use vodka too, Gail. Where are your beans from? Don't you love waiting for the answer?
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you should be curing your vinegar. I mean, your vinegar, your vanilla at least 7 months. Some people will say 18 months,
Wow.
but most people will say a year. But the Everclear is supposed to work within 4 months because it's so
Yeah, I
strong.
bet. Because it's so strong. Yeah.
But blah. What can I say? Blah.
I was supposed to get some cucamelon seeds from Brampton Gardner. And then she contacted me and said, you know what? I think I mixed the seeds up. I think I sent you bitter melon instead of cucamelon. So I guess I'll be growing bitter melon next year.
Well, if you need ideas on how to cook it, it's definitely one of those things you need to know what to do with it, or you'll spit it across the room.
Is that why it's called bitter melon?
Oh, it's when I used to cook it back in the 80s when I was first married, Charlie would leave. Someone's asking what color are the leaves of the bitter melon? You know, you've got 2 varieties out there.
He's
Oh,
asking
okay.
Humphrey, F.R. Humphrey, because F.R.
Because
Humphrey said the bitter
see.
melon never produced fruit.
When did you plant it, FR? Madagascar, I think Gail says. Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about what we grew this year that was different and that we really enjoyed.
Wow, Gail's vanilla is going on 2 years.
Okay, Gail is ready.
Ready, Gail.
It's ready. What was your ratio vanilla bean to alcohol? I use basically 5 beans per cup.
Oh, I need to close my door. I don't want this background noise. Hang on a second.
All right. FR says, I don't remember. It flowered and is still flowering. I may have planted it in June. It may be just now starting. FR, depending upon where in what zone you're in. We planted ours, I want to say in June, and they've been fruiting for maybe 3, maybe 4 weeks. But all of a sudden, you're going to get a bunch of it. And it freezes really well. I found a recipe that's a Chinese recipe for the bitter melon that makes it kind of, it's got cornstarch in it, so it comes out kind of silky and nice, and the flavors are nice. Of course, I like Asian food, so that helps. But the gourds, if I eat any more gourd, I'm going to turn into a gourd. I'm making soups. I'm stirring them into eggs. I'm putting them in my dal, making dal curries. And they're delicious, but you know, how much of one thing can you eat? Really, really prolific. Yeah, FR, you should be getting them by now, but don't give up. So you're in Lower Alabama. When I lived in Alabama, we called that LA. Lower Alabama. Below Eufaula. You follow me, I follow you. Hi, CC. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for coming in, CC. CNC Farm.
Yeah, FR, we used to live in Opelika. Do you know where that is? Well, first we lived in Lochapoka, central near Montgomery. Yeah. So do we say War Eagle with you? You better. Minnesota midget melons. And who gets kissed sweet corn? Did you see that, Rafiq? Charlie? Who gets kissed sweet corn? Have you ever heard of that? David, are those do-agains?
David, you made me think about midgets.
Oh, I grew. Now, Jess over at Roots and Refuge Farm is another really bad influence on me. She started running these specials with the green stalk planters. And, part of the business I have, I teach gardening. And I try to get people who are in patio apartments or townhouses to realize that, yeah, they can garden too. And these greenhouse these green stalk planters came out, and I'm like, oh shoot, we've got what, 5 of them, Charles?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I had them full of beans.
And the beans did good?
And they came, they were blossoming, they were starting to produce. Went out one day after one of these downbursts that we get here in Georgia. I almost think they're like tornado type things. And the green stalks had all fallen over, and the insides were everywhere.
Oh no.
And they happened to be in the cage or in the little fenced off area where my tortoise lives.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sitting in a patch of bean stalks with minus the leaves and the beans, and I swear he looked at me and belched.
He's like, sorry.
He enjoyed them, so we didn't get any beans.
He said, I cleaned it up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry, Ma.
Don't worry, I took care of that.
Yeah. So who else has animals in their garden that they put there? Anybody? I've got chickens that come out. The dogs have gotten the bad habit of jumping into the hugelkultur bed. We're in the process of building a chicken house that's going to be a rather long video for us because it's taking you from the beginning of the project to the end. But they're going to get a bigger compound, so I'm not going to allow them to invade the hugelkultur beds anymore. They've eaten all my kale that survived all summer.
Kale's good. Kale survives summer,
I love
winter.
it.
Yeah, kale's a champ.
Yeah,
I've got kale growing in my garden from 2 years ago.
That's cool. Do you know how to the trick on making it sweet? If you grow it through the summer and it gets a little bitter and tough. Same with your collard greens.
Put it in the freezer.
Put it in the freezer 10 to 20 minutes and then use it.
A Carolina
mantis. In stereo, we said that. What's a Carolina mantis? I'm going to have to look. Carolina mantis.
Carolina mantis.
Carolina mantis is a species of praying mantis of the subfamily Stagmomanthinae. Sexual cannibalism occurs in roughly 1/4 of all intersexual encounters of the species. Those specimens of this species will engage in cannibalism regardless of age or gender if the opportunity presents itself. So be thankful you're not a mantis, I guess.
Hello, Lioncrest. Thanks for coming in.
Lioncrest, really?
Aww.
Hey, welcome.
Wow.
Oh, I feel loved. I didn't think he remembered me. I met Lioncrest at the meetup in Savannah.
Yeah.
And fell in love with him, and he kind of disappeared into the mist.
Lioncrest has been pretty busy.
What you been up to?
Native
crickets.
American mantis. Okay. Well, how do you tell the difference between the mantises?
Size, I think.
Is it
The
size or do they have?
Chinese mantises are huge. They're big enough to eat hummingbirds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when you see the really big ones, like the size of your hand, that's a invader,
Sheesh.
and they will snatch a hummingbird right out of the air.
Oh my gosh. I saw the Jamaica, right? Jamaica vacation you had? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're
Very
back.
nice.
You
I
went to
wish I
Jamaica and they didn't take me.
could. Aliens, said David.
um, y'all should see my pepper patch. Yeah, I
The hot
grew.
pepper?
Yeah, well, I grew 60 varieties.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I definitely have some favorites. Y'all want to hear about my favorite peppers?
Of course. I'm
Uh,
thinking I'm gonna concentrate next year more on peppers than tomatoes. So I am looking for a lot of pepper recommendations.
well, I don't think I'm going to do the super hots. Those are requested by returning customers who come to me every year, except this
Okay.
one, and they didn't buy them. So
Oh,
I've got all these super hots. I've been picking them and drying them to make powders that I'll put up on my Etsy page.
okay.
But I no. Uh, the hottest I enjoy are the Scotch bonnets, and I grew
Okay.
5 kinds of Scotch bonnets, and they each have their own little ambiance, but they're all delicious.
Hmm.
There's a Turkish Turkish Karduli. One's a Baklava and the other one's from Tunisia and one's from Turkey. They both begin with a two. One
Okay.
has a Baklava and one is a oh shoot. I love getting older.
Right. Brain.
Anyway, it's kind of a triangular shaped pepper, and I think it's the Tunisian Baklava
Okay.
that it's got some spice to it, but
Hmm.
it's not going to overwhelm you. And I chopped it up and put it in a pot of dal, uh, mung bean dal. I use mung beans and fresh curry leaf. Do you grow curry?
No.
No, it's a must if you do some Indian cooking. Just
I
some.
don't use it too often, so
No, you're thinking curry powder. This is curry leaf. It's a totally different animal. Curry
okay.
curry powder is a mixture of spices that are based basically on turmeric. That's where you get your orange color.
Right.
But the curry leaf is a kind of a ferny, shrubby looking thing that's got it stinks if you crush it.
Mm.
But when you add it to your cooking, it definitely adds a dimension.
Hmm.
So this pepper, I had a group of people over. You know, we help refugees, and we had some Afghan refugees over, and I made the dal. The men are standing there very intently watching me, you know, make this dish that they eat in their country every day. They're
Right.
like, "This is American girl
Right.
making
Just
this
the way
stuff,"
you
and they're
make
watching and they're going, "What's that? What's that? Why are you putting that in?" And I'm like, "Just hush." And you know, they asked to take it home when we were done. They took the whole pot of
it.
dal home, so it must have been okay.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So that's one of my new favorites. I'll look it up real quick because I hate to you. And I might have seed I'm giving away. Yeah, Tunisian baklava and Turkish.
And it's hot, you said?
Um, it has a bite to it, but it's not as hot as a jalapeno.
Okay. Wow. So then it's not really hot hot.
No, it gives you a pleasant burn.
Okay.
Um, then there's the ahi peppers, AJI. They're all from South America.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like the pineapple, ahi pineapple. It's hard to
Okay.
find. It literally when you bite the end of it, um, tastes like pineapple. And then the heat hits you.
Ooh.
And
So it sneaks up on you.
it sneaks up on you, not quite as hot as a jalapeno. If we use
Hmm.
jalapeno as a benchmark for heat.
Right.
Um, then the Sugar Rush peach are right up
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I've
someone,
been wanting those.
okay, I've got all this. I've got a huge thing of seed. So if
I
you
need to
want,
add that sugar rush.
yeah, if you're looking
I've
for a good
heard-
source for seeds, Jim Duffy has a site. It's refiningfirechilies.com.
Okay. I
FR
first
wants
saw
curry
those.
leaf.
I
I'm
think I
sorry.
first saw those on. I think I first saw those sugar rush peach on either the Stivers Homestead or Roots and Refuge.
I don't think Jess gets that hot.
Yeah, wasn't sure it was her, but I know that the Stivers grow the sugar rush peach, and I think that's where I first saw it.
Well, it was developed by someone in Wales.
Okay.
Accidentally, from what I understand, it's a cross between the Scotch bonnet and one of the ahi peppers.
Okay.
And I grew it. I don't know why I remember this when I forget everything else, but I planted it August 23rd, 2021.
Uh-huh.
And by Christmas, I had peppers in the greenhouse. It went crazy.
Wow.
And so I said in one of my pepper pages, okay, how do I use this? And everyone said, well, we just pick them and eat them out of hand.
Oh.
So I went into my greenhouse and I picked one and I bit the end off. And the first sensation was a mouthful of powdered sugar. Next thing I know, I'm outside holding my knees, losing my lunch, praying that I wasn't going to pass out so my husband would come find me dead in the hallway there. So I enjoy that, but I make jelly out of it. Pepper
Yeah.
jelly. So yes, and you get the sugar rush, but you get another kind of rush followed right behind it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The ahi dulce, Dulce,
Okay.
are fabulous. They're very, very mild. They have that tropical ambiance to them that the Scotch bonnet have without the heat. And they use these in South America and Puerto Rico for their sofrito. So if you're growing those nice meaty tomatoes, this would pair well with that, with an onion and a little bit of coriander.
So what is the sugar rush cream? Linecrest said he grew the sugar rush cream. It's almost identical to the bonnet with bonnet flavor and tropical zing.
Yeah, it's probably just an offshoot from the Sugar Rush peach, just a different color.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Gail's laughing at me.
Right? That's right. I mean, that's hot, right, Q? The sugar rush cream. It's a hot one.
Yeah,
if it's identical to the bonnet, right?
I found my Sugar Rush peach to be hotter than my bonnets.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just the contrast with the sugar. And then the heat hit me, and I wasn't expecting it.
It rushed you.
Oh my God. Another one that's hard to grow, it's really hard to grow, is the Zulu pepper.
Oh, yes. I seen who was growing that? It's like a black pepper, right?
Right,
Like
it's black. Yeah. It's so juicy and so crisp and so sweet. But it's hard to get it. It's hard to get it to germinate.
Yeah, David was growing it. I just thought of it, David. Yeah, I was like, I just heard of that name because I did a post and I was asking about peppers, and I know that David had commented that he grows the Zulus. Okay, yeah.
What did you think of the Zulus, David? While he's typing, the sweet apple. It looks like a heart. turns bright red. That's sweet and juicy. But the hot things, the hot peppers I'll probably stick with are going to be the Tunisian and Turkish peppers. There's a East African pepper I'm growing. It's called a Berbere. It's chocolate brown.
Okay.
The Scotch bonnets, Sugar Rush peaches, and that's probably all the hot peppers. And then the sweet peppers, I'm going to do the ahi dulce, ahi pineapple, which has got a little heat to it. The sweet apple, the Zulu. I always have to have jalapenos.
Yeah, me
And
too.
long Indian cayennes. I have some cayenne bushes that are 3 years old. I had Scotch bonnet
Nice.
bushes that were 8 years old, but they didn't make it through last winter. But 8 years.
8 years. That's a long time.
I don't know, David. Let me see. Alma peppers. Let me see.
Sweet apple.
Oh,
I
I've
just
never
ordered
seen those.
I ordered some apple cucumber seeds. We were talking in a live about apple cucumbers one day, and then I had to order some. So
Oh, yeah. You like me? Someone makes a suggestion. There you go.
right. I can't even remember whose live it was. But then I went and
Someone
ordered
knows how to say chowder.
chowder.
Chowder. And you answer your question, David. No, it's not. It's a different pepper.
Sweet apple. Huh. I never heard of that one either. Where'd you get that one from? Do you know?
Probably from Duffy's site. Refining
Okay.
fire chilies, or let's see.
Refining fire chilies.
And he spells chilies wrong in his title. And it comes up as superhotchilies.com. If I put a link in the chat, will this
Yeah,
erase it?
it'll show up. No, it'll show up.
That's
Yeah,
my
there you go.
go-to.
Superhotchilies.com.
And Jim, when I decided to become an expert in all things pepper, coached me. He's a professional
Okay.
grower on methods to for germination, and I did a series on germinating. One of my first series last January, February, where I used 3 different germination methods,
Uh-huh.
and his method was the best. The only thing about it is you have to stay on it, because when they get their first 2 leaves, you need to be stepping them up into something bigger, because basically you broadcast seed on a 1/2 inch of horticultural grade vermiculite, not the stuff you get at the big box stores, but you have to order horticultural grade. It's very fine. You
Okay.
sprinkle your seeds on top, sprinkle more of the horticultural grade on top of that, and keep it moist and warm. And they almost 100% germination. They pop up. They put on those. As soon as they pop up, you give them just a little bit of chamomile tea, and then they'll pop out their next 2 leaves, and you better be stepping those puppies up because they'll grow fast, and the vermiculite's not going to be enough to sustain them.
Right.
David, I'm growing a new pepper to me that is not a name I can even say. It's got like 4 names to it, and it's from Hungary. And it looks like a little pumpkin. It's supposed to be the juiciest, sweetest pepper on earth. Mine are still green. I'll let you know what those are like. But yeah, I can talk peppers all night. Yeah, my husband, if he's Reflect on Light, if y'all came in before I said that, that's Charlie. He tried grow bags for the first time this year, and we planted all kinds of potatoes and purple potatoes, and they taste funky. Anyone else have that experience with purple potatoes?
I never grew them. I've never grown potatoes.
Never.
No, I never really had a desire to grow potatoes. Just because they were always so cheap. So I didn't want to
Gail,
dedicate space.
What are you doing wrong with your peppers? What are they turning colors or what's going on? Yeah, David, I think this isn't a Varsky pepper that I'm growing, but it's got like Sargento Bieber, whatever in the name of it. It's comes from a city in Hungary.
What's your Etsy page, Lisa?
It's called Cheeky Needle Craft. A lot of people can't find it because they say craft, CRAFTS. It's Cheeky Needle Craft. I don't have a lot up on it right now. I'm about to get my button gear and put my crocheted hats back on. I do needle felting. I do, we can't in Georgia. It's against the law to ship jellies across state lines. Otherwise, I'd have pepper jellies.
Wow.
We've got a little bit of honey. I'm going to be doing pepper seeds or seeds that I've harvested. I'll have butterfly milkweed seed and the dehydrated pepper powders. I'm going to be playing with recipes for rubs.
Okay.
Cheeky Needlecraft, all pushed together. What are the best potatoes? The best potatoes depends on your taste. I like the Yukon Golds or an Irish roasting potato. But the red potatoes Charlie grew this year were yummy too. Pippin's Golden Honey, I never got them to produce, David. The plants did great, but they just gave me greenery.
Huh.
Datil peppers are really hot on my tongue scale.
8 gallons of honey. Wow.
You got more than that, Charlie.
Your peppers are stunted, Gail.
Did you have a lot of temperature swings and water swings? I know you went through a drought. That impacts the peppers.
Mm-hmm.
Not a pensioning event, Charlie. You had a poisoning event.
Right. It was that spray, right?
Yeah, fipronil. We're going to be in a magazine, a beekeepers. It's a National Beekeepers Association magazine, where they interviewed us to talk about the poisoning of Charlie's beehives. It was one of the worst ones they'd seen. If you all keep bees and you have a poisoning event, you need to report it to your State Department of Agriculture and the EPA so they can track it. They'll come and they'll get samples of the bees, of the honey, of the wax in your yard to determine it wasn't you that poisoned your own bees. But they're mapping this, and the EPA told me that if you get enough of backyard bee hobbyists to report and track these poisonings, and they can pin down the compound, and they're beginning to think it's fipronil, maybe we can get it outlawed here. It's been outlawed in Europe. So, but here in the United States, we have to wait till it's a total disaster before anyone does anything. But the fipronil doesn't only kill the bees, it killed songbirds who were dropping dead out of the sky. My neighbor lost chickens. Another neighbor lost her dogs. Anything that ate the bees or any of the bugs that were exposed to this poison, anything that ate the bugs died. Yeah, so Gail, I think your problem with your peppers is environmental. It wasn't you. Maybe before the frost hits, you'll be able to actually get some. But you can eat peppers at any stage. The redder they get or the more ripe they get, if they're spicy, that's the hotter they are. So you may be able to tolerate a hot pepper in its green stage. I did fish peppers. Anyone done fish peppers? It's got quite a story behind the fish peppers. I like things that come with a story. The fish peppers were brought over in the transatlantic slave trade, the Africans that were kidnapped stuck the peppers up in their hair, and mostly, I guess, settled up toward Maryland, Virginia, um, where they grew them. And then with emancipation, they scattered, and the peppers were almost totally lost from the United States, except for these two dudes up in Pennsylvania started growing them and sharing them, and they gained in popularity. And they're striped. They're really pretty. It's a variegated leaf. The pepper's variegated. If you want to use them for your fish sauce, which is the way why they're called fish peppers, they're picked when they're white, which is when they're really, really young. And they grind them up and mix that with cream and garlic and, oh, my mouth's watering, and onions, and put that over fish. But they go bright red, like a fire truck, and you'll need a fire truck if you eat them at that stage. Okay, so Adrian, you have the shishito. I grew those one year, and they were hot, and they're not supposed to be hot. Were yours hot?
My red ones were hot. Remember that video I made? I tasted that pepper and it was hot. The green ones were not hot, surprisingly, but the red one got hot. Well, I bit into it because I expected it to not be hot. I harvested a bunch of peppers, and then one of them was red, and I just bit it. It was a shishito pepper. I didn't expect it to be hot. My mouth was on fire. I was like, "Whoa!"
So you did a Sugar Rush peach thing that I did with the shishito. Oh,
yeah, it totally caught me off guard. And then I was afraid to try the green ones because I didn't know if those ones came out hot. But they didn't.
So everyone's roasting them. I guess you roast them in the green stage.
You blister them while they're green in a cast iron skillet.
And so what is that like? Can you describe the flavor?
It just brings out the flavor of the pepper. Like the char on the pepper just brings out the flavor of the pepper. It's really good.
So you just eat them like that, or you serve them over meat,
or like that. You serve them on the side of meat or whatever. I just use them on the side of like chicken or fish. Dip them in like anything, Sometimes I make like a pesto mayo.
David, if you let them go red, we're telling you, be careful. Hike your pants up and put on your belt. Another thing I'm growing. Anyone else here grow the yard long beans?
I got some beans one time, some Chinese long beans, but they didn't germinate, so I never grew them.
Mine go crazy. I just plunk them in the soil.
Somebody sent them to me, so I don't know if they were not good seeds or if I just didn't germinate them well.
Uh-oh.
I mean, they're beans, right?
Everyone recognize who this is? That's Bamsey, the wonder dog. Yeah, they're beans. They're like a string green bean. That's I've decided I don't like the green ones. I like the red ones.
Okay.
And I've been flavor. It's just,
okay.
But I'm stuck on cooking them one way. I have to get out of my rut.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I start everything with mine are still producing too, FR. But I start everything with garlic and onions. If you don't like garlic and onions, don't come eat in my house. And then I put the beans in, and a tablespoon or two of oyster sauce, a dash of soy sauce, quarter cup of water, and then I mix that all together and put a lid on it and steam it for about 10 minutes.
Ooh.
And when you take the lid off, they're like caramelized. It's just, yeah. And then I'm like, we're going to plant more of these next year.
Nice.
So,
they climb?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm getting pretty good at things that climb, and I have all those cattle panel trellises everywhere. So if it climbs, it does well here. If it doesn't, then something eats it, and it's not us. So FR, how are you cooking your yard longs?
He said he doesn't like the green ones. He's got the green ones. He doesn't like them.
Yeah, he doesn't like them either. Try the red ones next year. Yeah, see what I mean, Adrian? The greens are just they're
So I'll have
nothing
to know that.
exciting.
Don't grow the green ones. Grow the red ones.
Yeah, and Kitazawa seeds where I get those. Most of my Asian vegetables I buy from Kitazawa. KIT Kitazawa. I'll get the link.
Yeah. You need to do some moderators for your next live.
Well,
That
that's
way,
another skill, right? I need a.
right. We'll have to practice that. You
You're
know what?
gonna have.
I got some panels. They're not cattle panels. They are they're like a steel mesh that I got from the hardware store. The one by me is Menards. I don't know if too many people have a Menards or if it's only like here in the Midwest, but it's called Menards. It's kind of like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or like that type of store.
Never heard of them.
Well, I think it's probably just mainly in the Midwest, but all of the stores, last year I got them at, well, maybe not last year, but the year before, I got them at Lowe's. This year I got them at Menards, and they are panels, just like what cattle panels look like. They're steel mesh panels. They're like maybe 4 feet by 7 feet or something like that, 6 or 7 feet. So it's a panel, and you can use it just like a panel. You know what I mean? You can fold it over and make a hoop, or you can tie it up and make a trellis, or whatever. So I get those. They're really cheap. They're like $7 or $8.
Really? I'm paying like 22, 23 for mine.
Yeah, but they're not as big as a cattle panel, and they're not going to last as long. But it's like a cheap fix.
We have
Yeah.
3 25-foot long hugelkultur beds.
Yes, Homestead Aquarius. I think that's what it's called. The concrete reinforcing those panels. They're like $7 or $8, but they work really well. Yeah, they don't have galvanizing on them.
Um, with our with 220 or 3 25-foot long hugelkultur beds, and one of the hallways, it's got the cattle panel over the top. And
Uh-huh.
last winter we pulled 6 mil plastic that you get in. It's from the paint department at Home Depot or Lowe's. That comes in 20 by 100 feet, 6 mil.
Yeah.
The white plastic. We pull that over the top. We weigh it down with bales of straw.
Okay.
Okay. And that became our winter greenhouse for all my citrus. I had citrus, I had scented geraniums, I had several other things, a carambola tree, a cherry tree, Barbados cherry tree, just with this over the top and a space heater. Then we cooked the straw bales like you do when you're doing a straw bale garden with the high nitrogen. And as it decomposes, it gives off heat.
Heat,
And
yes.
everything thrived.
Wow.
So the cattle panel are sturdy enough for you to use them as a hot house or hoop house, whatever you want to call it, in the winter. And one of them, the one we put the peppers in, had snake gourd and it lasted for over a year. It didn't die. And we had temperatures in what, Charlie, in the teens last winter? Micro Farmer, thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you. Yes, happy first live. How do y'all think it's going so far? Do I get a lot of thumbs up or nah?
I think it's going great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's going great.
So I don't know if that tip for making temporary greenhouses to get you through the cold weather is a good one or not. What do you think, Adrian?
I think it's a great option because what I did, I had a cheap, like $100 greenhouse that I got from, I don't know if it was Overstock or like, um, I don't remember where exactly I got it from. I didn't get it on Amazon. I know that for sure. But I had like a cheap $100 one. But I also doubled the, because you know those cheap greenhouse covers they give you are nothing. They're like what, like maybe 4 mil at the most.
Yeah.
So I doubled it with a 6 mil plastic, and underneath the greenhouse plastic that they gave me, and then I put their cover over that. So I had like couple of layers in there, and it worked so good. Like the temperature in there, the microclimate that you can create in there by doing the um, layers of protection. Like each layer of protection is like another zone that you're going up, or like another microclimate that you're moving up. So like I'm in zone 5. So when it starts to get cold here, I need protection. So with that greenhouse, when it was like 30 degrees outside, that greenhouse was nearly 100 degrees. It
Without
was
any additional heat.
right because I didn't have any heat in there. It was hot in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
hot. That's cool. Yeah.
yeah.
uh,
So it's definitely a uh great thing to be able to do. And it with just a roll of plastic, the 6 mil.
exactly. Hmm. My little pepper house, it stayed warm enough all through the winter for condensation to fall like almost a constant light rain. And so it's almost like you wanted an umbrella when you went in there to see if anything needed watering. And the peppers loved it. I mean, second year they've come through like that. Um, so you're in Connecticut with rabbits, but I think rabbits like it cold, don't they, Adrian?
Yeah, they do. They prefer it cold. And as long as you keep them dry and out of any, direct wind, they'll be fine. They love
Charlie's
it.
wanted rabbits, but I've got this thing about not being able to eat anything I know. I mean,
My nighttime temps get super cold. Like I'm in zone 5. At that time, my nighttime temps were like, I even put one of those thermostats in there where you got like I don't know, I can't remember. It's like a
it gives you the
remote.
high and low.
Yeah, it gives you a high and low. You can keep the display in the house and have the actual thermostat or like the thermometer in the greenhouse. So I could see from inside my house what temperature it was outside in the greenhouse. So it was always at least 30 to 40 degrees hotter in the greenhouse. But then when it would get nighttime and the temperatures would dip really low, I could not keep it to be warm like that. The temperatures would go down. It would not stay warm. And I tried a few different experiments, but I never actually put a heater in there. I didn't have the straw bales or anything like that. So I didn't have I tried to what I tried to do was put a compost pile in there, but it wasn't heating up enough. So there was
Well,
really
we
nothing in
we
there.
use the little space heaters you put under your desk
Yeah.
that have a thermostat on it. So if it went below 55, it would kick on. So this year we're going to do it below 35 because it stayed pretty darn warm on its own. But we've had a few nights in the teens, and a little bit of snow, and the citrus we put in the ground along the driveway last year
Okay.
not only made it with just a frost cloth over it, but I've got fruit. I've got my first 4 Satsuma oranges out there. Um, so yes, you can grow things out of their zone. Who would think you could grow citrus in Atlanta?
Right, right.
So people are excited about this topic.
Mm-hmm. It's Huga Homestead. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, yes. So I guess maybe we need to do a video on how to do those cattle panel greenhouses. Are you up to that,
Oh,
Charlie?
yeah. Greenhouse videos are really, really popular, especially now when it's starting to get fall. Greenhouse videos are very popular.
As I say in my banner here, if you have a question you'd like us to address with its own video, feel free to drop me a note. So I've gotten 3 ideas already just since the live started. We can show you how to put together one of these cattle panel things. We'll probably put it up and take it down because we don't need any more greenhouses. I've got 1, 2, 3.
So
But
Micro Farmer has a question about bringing in fruit trees.
you're in Connecticut, you said?
Right.
I wouldn't leave the Myers lemon out. I'd bring it in and put it next to a sunny window. It'll supposedly survive here in Zone 7B. And I put one in the ground this summer just to see, because last year we had a dwarf brown satsuma, a navel orange, a yuzu, which is a Japanese juice orange, all come through in the ground here in Georgia, with just sheets over them or frost claw. So this year we've planted a pink lemon. It's a variegated tree. It's really pretty, which is really a Eureka lemon, and a Myers lemon, and a guava, pineapple guava. So check back with me in the spring to see if they make it, because the Eureka lemons and the Persian, I've also put a Persian lime in, aren't supposed to like it under 45 degrees. So we shall see. And that's one of the things I like about gardening is we try something new or several somethings new every year. And if it doesn't work, then you learn. If it does work, you can be delighted and move on from there. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we'll have to do that in the next couple of weeks so people have time to put one up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say your name, Haiji?
Huga.
Huga. Huga Homestead.
Huga Homestead.
Okay, Huga, I'll try to remember that. But yeah, we'll try to do that in the next weekend or two.
Micro Farmer wants to know if you have to deal with bugs when you bring them in.
No, actually. We had mice come through one year and ate all my seedlings. I had like 11 trays of things that were being about ready to set out. It was like in March. And I was so delighted, went to bed one night all happy, saying, okay, we can start putting the brassicas out. Came in the next morning. I had trays of soil. Totally ate every single darn thing I'd started. And the only thing I could think of that would do that would be mice.
Hmm.
Okay, so David and okay, that's 2 votes for the greenhouse thing. So y'all gonna think I'm disgusting, but you know how I keep the mice out of the greenhouse now?
Uh-oh. What's the plan?
Can you guess? Well, what do you put around your property to discourage
With the
rodents?
cats?
To discourage rodents from coming into your garden?
Does it have anything to do with the cats?
No.
I
You've
don't
heard me
know.
talk. Yeah, you've heard me talk about the cat pee to keep the ants out. Human pee keeps the rodents out.
Does it? I didn't know that.
And they definitely
That's
just
interesting.
use a bucket and put it under your benches. It's disgusting, but it works, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, FR knew.
Urine.
Ammonia. Well, ammonia is urine.
Ammonia?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ferment your pee in a bucket and use that, and it's really good nitrogen too.
Oh yeah.
But it's disgusting. You know, the neighbors look over. Why is she peeing in her greenhouse? Okay. It doesn't work in the New York subway. Maybe New York maybe New York
Right.
has some special rodents.
Those are some super rats. They
Oh
don't
man.
mind.
Yeah, they've got those Dutch rats that are the wharf rats are as big as cats.
Man, yeah, I seen some videos about that.
Hey,
About
growing with Hudson.
Hey, Growing with Hudson. I hope you're feeling okay. I saw your post earlier.
What was wrong?
She said she tested positive.
Have you
So
had any
that's
shots?
no.
If hopefully you've had a shot or two that make it so it won't be as bad. Yeah, FR probably radioactive.
Sad but true, right?
We need to go get our boosters, our COVID boosters. So when and if we get this stuff, it hopefully won't be as bad. So Hudson, how are you feeling? It's kind of crappy, or how's it hitting you? Scares
Hello,
me because
mom and son.
you can hear probably my videos. I've got really bad lungs. Hey, makeup mom and son.
Feels like sinus problems. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing from the last strand or whatever you want to call it. That it was like sinus problems that people, they're like, I don't feel sick. I just feel like I have, like a sinus thing going on.
Well, then I've had it constantly for the last 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, the first 2 shots. Yeah, that sucks. But the worst is over, I hear. So, but it's going to be with us. So get your boosters every year.
I know, right? It's like the flu now.
Yeah. Kind of scary. It was scary 2 years, wasn't it? And I think all of us are impacted in some way.
Yeah,
And so what do? We turn to our gardens, right?
absolutely.
And now we've got inflation to keep us gardening.
Right.
So,
Oh, wow. That's a blessing, Q. That's a blessing.
oh well, I hope he continues to do well, Hudson.
Yes. Yes. I continue to use my hand sanitizer after everything I do. So
That's
if I
right, David.
if I pump gas, I use hand sanitizer. If I'm in the store afterwards, I use hand sanitizer. I continue to use hand sanitizer. So,
Well, my retirement job, I only work 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. So I'm a cashier at Home Depot. Absolutely worst thing for me to do because every time a new tool comes out, I've got to buy it and bring it home for my husband.
oh gosh.
Yeah, I think
And
things
you
go
get
on
a
sale.
discount, right?
Yeah, and as soon as it goes on sale, they don't permit us to shop sales until the end of our shift. So if you come in and they've got a pop-up sale of something you really would like, you have to wait till you get off and hope that someone hasn't bought it all by the time you get.
Wow. What if they
Yeah.
came in early that day? Can you shop before your shift?
Yeah, and then you put it on the table in the break room and it disappears. But I love
What
my
would
Home
you
Depot
charge?
job. Good. Um, and I still have customers who try to snatch the mask off my face. I'm not taking that mask off. People literally come up in your face and try to grab the mask
What? That's rude.
or cough on you on purpose. And you're like, hey, y'all, I've got bad lungs. Please, if you don't want to wear your mask, that's fine. But
Right. Like, I don't get that. Like, if you
yeah,
just, everyone makes their own choices.
yeah, and
This
I'm
is
just
my
scared.
choice.
I'm scared to death. And yeah, you deal with the public, and you've got all that nice mixture of germs around you all the time.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
feel like with all the masks wearing, our resistance has gotten low.
maybe not. I mean, doctors wear masks all the time in the hospital, and they're not sickly. I think a
Yeah,
lot of
for procedures.
I think a lot of it has to do with your diet and
Yeah.
your immune system. So, who here makes fire cider?
I have yet to make that.
It there's a reason they call it fire cider. But so we've been on how long? An hour and a half. So do we
Has-
want to wrap it up or
It's up to you. You're live. It's your show.
I know, but the people here we're talking about all sorts of things. I want to end on something upbeat and not thinking about COVID and
Yeah. Oh, well, Growing with Hudson said she makes a lot of tinctures.
yes, I do too. I one things I did do during the pandemic is get certified in herbal medicine.
Now
So
you have certification, don't you?
yeah, and I've got to go out and do a lemon verbena video uh, here in the next day or two. So what kind of tincture do you do growing with Hudson? I've got enough echinacea to last us the rest of our life, and sage. And what else do we do, Charlie? Do fermented cranberries with ginger and turmeric for
What about
urinary
lemon
tract stuff.
balm?
You know, lemon balm's only good for 6 months. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know
It
that.
loses it. I grow it.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, you don't really grow lemon balm. You put it in the garden and then you fight it for the rest of your life, right?
I didn't put mine in the ground. I put mine in a grow bag.
Yeah, in a grow bag. Well,
Yeah.
mine's in a pot, and I move it from place to place, and a little piece of the root goes to the bottom of the pot, and the next year I've got a patch of lemongrass right there. So
Elderberry mead.
we made, yeah, Charlie likes to make his mead. For medicinal purposes only, you do understand.
Mullein. I have mullein popping up in my garden just voluntarily.
Oh, yes, I made the mullein extract. I've got leaves dried. It's good for your bronchia. Um, and then you pick the little blossoms in the second year and steep them in olive oil. Do you get ear infections or like that? Because
No,
you put a drop in your ear if you
huh.
get an earache.
No, I never get.
Come
I
on
don't.
over, David. You and Charlie can sit and try the 3 different types of mead he's making. What are you going to make this year, Charlie?
I think the deer keep eating my elderberry.
Oh, well, the birds ate ours this year. Um, but we have all this honey and what to do, you know. Uh,
What
I,
about feverfew? Do you grow that?
no, that's one I haven't tried. I think I grew it one year and didn't do anything with it. And uh,
Okay.
Angelica as well. It looks pretty, and I like the sound of Angelica stalk candied, but then I never do anything with it. One thing I'm excited about is we're letting our yard naturalize. In other
Yeah.
words, letting the grass die and let the wildflowers come in. And the whole side of our yard, the west side of our yard, is covered in birdsfoot violet this year. I
Ooh.
mean, it is really, the greenery has taken over. So now I can't wait for spring, and I'll be scooting around on my butt picking little violet blossoms for vinegars and tinctures. And of course, you can eat the leaves.
I get the wild violet too in the springtime. I get it.
Do you use the leaves at all?
I haven't yet. I do definitely take advantage of the dandelion. I make the dandelion, tea and vinegar, and I use the dandelion. I haven't made the jelly yet because I went back out. I was going to go back out and harvest some more dandelion, but then it got super hot, and then all the dandelion turned into the puff balls. And I was like, dang, I missed my chance to get more dandelions.
Well, actually, if you plant the European varieties, you'll have it longer. I grew the pink, Eastern European pink
Oh,
dandelion
the
this
pink
year.
stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know
the
those.
leaves are delicious. Um, Someone
Let it
was
germinate.
asking wild lettuce. David, wild lettuce scares me. You can make yourself horizontal permanently with that. It's
Microfarmer needs
also
honey.
addictive. Microfarmer what?
He needs honey. He's looking for honey so that he can make CBD honey for his clients.
Oh. CBD honey. How much would you need? Charlie sells his honey for $12 a pound right now. Until it's gone. And eight gallons won't last long.
Yeah.
Especially if we steal a gallon to make some mead.
He just needs a gallon.
Well, I tell you what. Send me an email. The email's going across the bottom of the screen there. If you're serious about getting a gallon, he'll weigh one out for you. See how many pounds it is, whether you want to spend that or not. Hey, Ruth.
Hey, Ruth.
Good evening, everyone. Been in my backyard garden all day. Hope you don't fall asleep. Well, it's by weight, David. He usually only weighs out a pound at a time, so I don't know, Charlie. David's asking you.
The shipping will be more than the honey.
Yeah, probably. You got to take that in consideration.
Absolutely.
It might be better for you to find a local beekeeper. Just about every county in the country has a bee club.
A gallon is about 5 pounds.
Charlie, we've got it in gallon bottles if you want to get the scale out of the bathroom and go.
Blue Ridge sells it by the gallon too.
Blue Ridge? Yeah. We shop there. That's where we get a lot of our supplies. That's where we got our girls, the bees. That's a story. I was one of those people that like silly little girls screaming and jumping around and flailing my hands around when bees were near me. And Charlie's got me so calm enough so that when we were on our way back from the Blue Ridge Honey Company, it's about almost 2 hours from us, with the bee packages in the back of the SUV. They were getting out and buzzing around, flying around the cab. Yeah. And the side of the car where the sun would come in, they were collecting on the windows, and it happened to be coming in the driver's side. And we'd pull up to a stoplight, and the people would pull up next to us and look over and hear these bees on the window.
And what the heck is going on over there?
You should be very proud of me. I was sitting holding my shirt like this so they couldn't get in anywhere and get trapped and sting. But I was very calm, with probably 50 bees flying around the inside of the car. But the people's faces, I wish I'd had a camera. I really wish.
Sometimes you can get mean bees, and then sometimes you can get nice bees, from what I hear.
Yeah, we call them hot and cold.
Okay.
We found we'll never do Italian bees again. They're lazy. They hang around. They don't do much work. Don't produce much honey.
Really?
But so the Hungarian Eastern European bees that we can never say it correctly. Let me Google it. Carniolan. Carniolan. Carniolan honeybee.
Huh. Okay.
Native to Slovenia, southern Austria, and parts of Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, and Montenegro, Serbia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria. So they're an Eastern European bee. Very calm, very gentle. Our first 3 hives, we name our hives. It was Jaja. What was it? What are the 3 Gabor sisters? Jaja, Eva, and Myrna. Right?
Okay.
Magda. Anyway, they're really gentle, and they swarm every spring, and we catch the swarms, and we were up to 10 hives last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the spray thing happened?
And then the neighbors poisoned them. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
we've got 3 hives this year with one that's limping along. Yeah, y'all. So if you spray for mosquitoes, please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, I never
Bees with attitude.
spray anything for anything.
One of your hives came out. Oh, that's Charlie. One of the hives came out of the winter hot. Yeah, I'm not so sure that was one of our own queens, honey. Oh, David. I wish Charlie could be on the mic here. He could tell you about the colors of the honey and why they change color from year to year. One year we had black honey.
Ooh, wow.
And the darker the honey, the more medicinal it is.
What's that?
Nice.
What are you saying, Charlie?
What's that plant that you just can't get rid of?
The plant that we can't get rid of.
The bush.
Which one?
Yeah.
The bush.
The bush. Okay, everyone, this is guess what plant he's talking about. It's a plant we can't get rid of. It's not poison ivy, and it's a bush. He's still over there thinking, oh, he'll come up with it eventually.
Growing with Hudson said she's going to be a future beekeeper.
I think that's great, Hudson. If you're like me, you get past your fear, and I help them out of water now with my finger. Are you doing okay, Adrian? You keep coming and going.
Yeah, I don't want to be on camera when I got to take my vitamins.
Oh, take some from me.
I got to take my
privet.
vitamins.
F.R. Humphrey says privet. Is that what you're talking about, Charlie? The privet?
Oh, I have that.
He says, aha, privet. Yes. FR gets the prize.
It smells
about
good.
Yeah, it's supposed to make pretty good honey. We had honey one year that was light in color, but it was we had a false spring, and the only thing blooming was the wisteria, and the honey smelled like wisteria blossoms. It's the most wonderful tasting stuff, very floral. We'll probably never see it again in our lifetime unless we have another freak, perfect storm wisteria bloom. But privet makes very light colored honey. So if your friend needs to think about what was blooming when the bees were harvesting.
I have a privet right outside my sunroom. It smells amazing. And the bees love it. Love it. Love it. I mean, it's loaded up with bees and butterflies. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I really like the humming of the hives. They're up against the house.
Yeah.
And you walk out of the house and it's this rumble that kind of gets inside you and soothes you. In the morning that they all died, I walked out of the house and the silence hit me like a rock.
Oh.
I mean, it was like walking in a wall. It was like, whoa, it's too quiet. And then I looked over on the ground and we had thousands of bees on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, I would have cried.
Oh, I cried. I still cry when I think of what they went through. So let's talk. Gina.
Thanks for coming in.
Yes, thank you. So now let's talk about what we tried that was absolutely horrid in our garden this year.
Let's see.
I'll go first. I ordered from Baker Creek these cute little orange eggplant. Look like little orange eggplant. They're round.
Okay.
I
think I've seen those.
You remember seeing them?
I've seen those, yeah.
I've since learned that they're native to Ethiopia, East Africa,
Okay.
but they're popular in Turkey when they boil them down and use them in a dish called shashuka, which has a lot of tomatoes, and it's a saucy thing. Then you crack an egg on top of it.
Oh, okay.
But I was letting them go to orange and picking them, and if you were to peel them, you don't have much left, and they're full of seeds. So I'm thinking, well, okay, this must be one that you eat with the skin. And they were so stiff and not much flavor other than the bitter that you get with the eggplant if you don't salt it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I learned that you're supposed to pick them green. Well, nowhere it doesn't tell you on the package to use them green. But when they're green, they're like the size of a fat grape. I mean, they're
They're that little?
Yeah, the mature ones are only that big.
Wow.
So before they go yellow, they're like that big. I won't do those again. You're not going to grow rosemary, Ruth? I love rosemary.
I'm not going to do grape tomatoes.
No?
No. I did my sweet 100s, and those are awesome. I love those. I'll always grow those. But I grew grape tomatoes this year, and I just was not impressed. The skin is like tough. The grapes are really little. They're red. The grapes are really, the tomatoes are really little, and they're red, and they look like they're going to be just amazing. But then when you eat it, they're like the skin is so like thick or tough. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not. It's like after you bite into it, you have like all skin then in your mouth. Like the inside just comes out, and then you're like left chewing on skin.
That was my complaint about the eggplant, and then the inside isn't sweet like a grape tomato. It's bites you back. Ruth's saying she's having trouble with her rosemary dying. Rosemary takes a lot of air circulation. So if you have things growing up around it and you live in a humid climate, Ruth, then it's too humid for your rosemary. If it's turning black from the bottom, that's a fungus. So you need to raise it up a little bit, and so it's well drained, not let it get too wet, because humidity is not your friend with rosemary or with lavender. Well, we have rosemary bushes that are huge. How did you propagate your rosemary growing with Hudson? I've seen people do it by cutting, and I would like everyone's opinion on my bay laurel tree, the bay trees that you use the bay leaf you use in your cooking. You're supposed to propagate it in July, early August is when you take your cuttings. Here we are going into October, but I am zone 7B, 8A. Is it worth trying to propagate? What do y'all think? To do some cuttings?
It might be okay because the weather has been still hot, so you might be able to catch it.
You just put it in the greenhouse?
I would try it as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, come on over, Adrian. I'll hand you some nippers. Tell your family I'm popping over to Atlanta to help Lisa cut those woods.
I had to winter sow my lavender to get it because lavender is one of those that needs a what is it called?
Cold stratification?
Stratification, yes.
Yeah.
So lavender needs a stratification period, so it has to go through a cold period before it will germinate. So I had to winter sow my lavender in order to get it to even grow from seed. So that's the only reason why I have lavender.
Yeah, what kind of lavender though?
I don't even remember what kind it is. It's been a few years since I planted it, so the tag is long gone. I don't remember what kind it is. I believe I got it from Little Shop of Seeds.
Is the blooms come on a really long stalk and on
Yes,
the end of the stalk, or are they the big fat mothers that are kind of stay close to the plant?
long stalk.
Okay, yeah, that's the type that will grow here in Georgia. But again, it needs plenty of air circulation, and I think there's a nursery near her that's called the Growers Outlet.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it's wholesale prices. It's very dangerous to go there, Adrian. You'll spend like $400 before you
Oh,
walk out of there.
no, I can't
Uh,
believe.
but they sell it as delightful lavender.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up for you.
I'm not sure
Uh,
anyone had a problem with too much water this year, Charlie.
yeah, you don't know though. I know south of us had a lot more rain than we got. Ruth, where Georgia are you? Did you get a lot of rain this year?
I know southern Indiana gets a lot more rain than I do.
This has been a strange year, but I think all years coming are going to be strange from now on. As the weather patterns are shifting and nothing's stable.
It's very
Um,
unpredictable.
yeah. So what do we do?
Very unpredictable.
So how do we anticipate as gardeners the climate swings that we're getting? How do you plan for that?
I'm not sure you can. I mean, there's some things you can do, but I mean, you can only do so much. You can't fight Mother Nature.
No, gotta work with it, but there's got to be a way um, to look at patterns. I keep a journal.
The almanac, yeah, I keep a journal too. That's definitely a good way. But the almanac, the farmer's almanac is usually pretty good tool to go by.
I don't find them too accurate for where I am. That I use them for guidelines on what time of year to plant things, though.
Uh-huh.
But like, who would have thought we would have had 110-degree days here?
Yeah. It was rough. It was a rough summer. It was definitely rough.
Yeah.
And some places are supposed to get a really bad winter. When I looked at the almanac, I think ours is supposed to be average where I'm at, but some people are going to get more precipitation than usual, and then some people are going to get less. I'm just right in the middle, so I'm kind of just average.
Well, we want a lot of snow. We want those rough winters in Colorado, Wyoming, Montana to
Yeah,
feed
because it'll
to feed
kill
the
off,
water table. So is
and you
that where
need
they're? I'm
you
sorry.
need
Go
that
ahead.
cold. You need that cold to kill off certain bacterias and things. So, I mean, if it doesn't get cold enough, then a lot of things don't die off like they should, and then they come back with a vengeance the next year.
Which I don't understand why we had such trouble this year with the cucumber beetles. They
I
were
know.
horrendous. To you too?
I could not get any cucumbers. And then also the vine borers were outrageous.
We didn't have too many vine borers, but then again, we I planted things that are resistant, like the tromboncini squash. Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, now the cucumber beetles have been eating the leaves. When they ran out of cucurbits, they ate all my tromboncini leaves. But that's okay. One tromboncini fed us for like almost 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So and we've got a couple that are coming still. That is a plant that will take over your universe. The vine on that will keep going, um, spreading like crazy. It's like a little
I
shop of horrors.
I agree with Humphrey. Creating microclimates,
Right.
being in different using different methods of growing in ground, in containers, in raised beds, using different layers of protection, shade cloth. You got to use everything you can to create and to help, create the atmosphere that your plant is going to need.
Yeah, Gina says vine borers were bad this year.
Hmm.
I bought Charlie a bunch of these little bottles with needles on them
Oh,
for
tea?
BT, and we tried that year before this one, and
Did it work?
it by the time we figured it out, yeah, but it was like 2/3 of the way through the growing season when we decided to try it. And this year we didn't have a problem with them because we went with bug resistant varieties of squash and other things. It was the cucumber beetles, y'all. They ate everything.
Wow. You know what? A good trap plant for cucumber beetles is sunflowers.
Yeah, we planted a few of those, but we didn't plant them near anything else, so they didn't do us a hell of a lot of good.
Right. You got to
The-
do a perimeter of sunflowers so that when they come to your garden, the first thing they see is the sunflower and they don't go for your plants.
Did you hear that, Charlie?
And then the birds will come and see the cucumber beetles on the sunflower and they'll be eating the cucumber beetles.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Or I've had ladybugs, like other predator bugs will come and eat the bad bugs that are on sunflowers. Like I've seen grasshoppers on sunflowers, on my sunflowers. I've seen cucumber beetles on my sunflowers, ladybugs on the sunflowers. I've seen a variety of bugs that are on the sunflowers. So
Okay.
sunflowers draw in a lot of bugs, good bugs and bad bugs. So if the bad bugs can get to the sunflowers before they get to your crops, then the good bugs can come and take out the bad bugs, or even the birds can take out the bad bugs.
Yeah, so I guess more sunflower next year. I want to grow those big mammoth ones that Baker's
Yeah.
Creek shows them roasting. Have you ever
Yeah,
done that?
I've never tried that. Has anyone tried that, roasting their sunflowers?
Charlie, someone's asking you what are the predator nematodes for ants? Kusha is growing all over the place, trying to attract everything. Is that a squash?
Yeah, the Cushaw squash.
I thought so.
It's like a big, it almost looks like a bottle gourd, except it's huge. It's more bigger. It's
And I
got the
wonder.
stripes on it. They have them. There's orange ones and there's green ones.
That sounds good. We keep trying to grow Georgia candy roasters, and something keeps killing the vine. But I don't know if he's typing or not. Charlie, he's off reading an article.
He's done.
Charlie. Oh, he's looking it up.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he does the nematode thing. We planted a lot of thyme underneath our beehives, thyme and peppermint, to help keep the beetles away.
Oh, yeah, because that's a thing, right? With the bees and the beetles.
The small hive beetles and wax moths and
Okay.
yeah, everyone hits the thumbs up. I kept forgetting. I forget to ask everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. Help me grow the channel. Thumbs up, comment. And I'm totally serious. If you send me a note about something you want me to film, then we'll film it. And we'll give you a shout out in the filming.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to grow more vining melons and things like that, but we just don't have the land here.
Yeah.
And last year we grew 4 kinds of gourd, like the bird's nest gourd and something I call bumpy butt gourd. It's
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
looks like someone with a really bad case of cellulite, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that one.
and chayote squash. And we had all this huge crop coming over the large hallway with the cattle panel trellises. And something went through and chewed every single one of those off the vine.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know whether it was a groundhog, no, yeah, groundhog or rats or whatever. But we went out in the morning and all the gourds and everything was still green. And the chayote squash, which was the size of an egg, were all on the ground.
Those are those little green ones, right?
Right. They're really
Yeah.
good sliced and fried. Yeah. So, is there anything else people want to discuss? Of course, everybody, when you ask that, goes, huh?
Yeah, the sunflowers are quick. They don't last very long. But the ones I planted, like, they grow multiple heads. So when one head dies off, another one blooms.
Our goldfinches like our sunflowers.
Oh yeah. They're very pretty too. Pretty birds.
I need more room too, Ruth. But the thing is, I can't have enough land. Every inch of however big a plot I get, will have something on it. I've already decided if I go back to Florida, we're going to do along the roadside. We're going to do moringa. That's a good cash crop.
Oh yeah, moringa. So tell us why you left Florida.
Well, we're living in South Florida, and I'm a retired journalist, and I happened to be on the crime beat for the Miami Herald and the Sun Sentinel, and it kind of made me paranoid driving around all of South Florida, reading about all the crime. Most of it doesn't make it to the news, y'all. We just
Yeah.
they kind of look for the most violent, grossest stuff. There's a saying, if it bleeds, it leads.
Hmm.
And I'd go home and I'd put my handgun on my desk and lock all my doors and draw all my shades after seeing what was going on. And during the winter months, when a lot of people come down from up north, you have a lot of predators come down that prey on the older folk, scam artists, and
Yeah, because
do
Florida's
violence.
a great place to do that, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about getting older, but you're the good sense you had when you were younger kind of leaves you, and you get very trusting, and it. I don't know what happens to our brains, but I said to my husband, I said, "Do you really want to retire here?" Where I won't talk about the woman I was about to talk about. She used to shop at the grocery store we shopped at, and she was killed. And I said, "Don't you want to go somewhere where there's more than 2 seasons?" There's 2 seasons in Florida: humid, humid, and tourist, and sometimes they overlap.
Oh.
So we're like, okay, we want 4 seasons. My specialty as a reporter was writing about culture and religion. So some people call it diversity reporting. So I got to meet with people from all over the world, got introduced to all these different cuisines. So I said, let's go where there's a variety of people. And 4 seasons. We got looking at Atlanta, that has a major airport here. We can travel, hop on a plane and travel.
Right.
It's got 4 seasons, none of them too severe. I chose the most diverse county in the states, Gwinnett County. And you've got just about every language spoken on earth in this county, between this county and DeKalb County, which is right next door. So I've got my diversity of people that I can hang out with and talk to and enjoy. And lots of nice restaurants, DeKalb Farmers Market, which has whatever's in season around the world there. So this was just a nice, and the cost of living, get this, Adrienne, 47% cheaper to live here than Broward County, Florida.
Is it still that way, or was it that way when you moved?
It was that way when we moved. I'm sure there's still a dramatic difference because
Yeah.
things down in South Florida are outrageous. Prices are outrageous, and the intracoastal is flooding into the land now at high tide. There are places, and they don't tell you this. There's places you can't drive.
Mm,
Parking garages that when you go in, you go, "Wow, look at all this parking," and everyone's parking 2 floors up, but there's a reason.
right.
It's because the ocean's coming in. Um, so why would you want to live there? The hurricanes are
Yeah,
getting worse, the
they
crime,
are. And they're
the
getting more
poverty.
people too.
You know, so we came here. Um, we live in the shadow of Stone Mountain. Um, and it's definitely just since 2014 when we came here, it's definitely gotten warmer. Just
Oh
in the
yeah.
few years we've been here.
Hmm.
So that's why we came to Georgia, and you didn't expect a big long story, I know, but that's me. I talk all the time. Uh,
So what's the coldest it gets in Georgia, or what is the coldest it has gotten in Georgia where
uh,
you
the
are?
cold, the coldest winter we've had was this last one. We had a spell after spring had already begun.
Oh,
The
that
the
frost, right? That late
Yeah, it
frost.
went down to 17 degrees.
It was probably like the second week of May, right?
April or May. Yeah, it killed
Yeah,
a lot of things. And then we immediately went into a drought that
crazy.
lasted almost 3 month drought. Um, so we didn't get the honey we usually get. We didn't get the berries we usually get.
Hmm.
Everything was stunted. It's just been a strange year. Yeah, Charlie has a couple olive trees.
Oh,
F.R.
wow.
Humphrey and Ruth are talking about moringa. Yeah, if you go to an Asian market, Ruth, you're in Georgia, do you have Da Mei Un grocery stores? They're owned by it's a Korean chain. If you go in, they sell moringa seed because they use that in their cooking, the peoples that shop there. And you can get a tub of moringa seed, like a tub of that you get sunflower seeds in, whatever, at the grocery store, full of moringa seeds. They're all viable. Just take them home, plant them.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, don't order moringa. If you've got a market that caters to Asians, you'll be able to find
An
moringa
Asian
seed.
market, you said?
Asian markets, yeah.
Okay. I know where a couple of those are.
So that's where you get your moringa seed. Also, everyone's got an Indian market now. There's people from India everywhere, right? If you can find a grocery store that caters to people from India or Pakistan or the Asian the subcontinent, and you like cilantro, go get a bag of their cilantro, the cilantro seed. That's viable.
Coriander.
Yeah, and you get 16 ounces of cilantro for what you'd pay for a little packet of seed from a seed supplier.
Right,
Uh,
coriander. It's
yeah,
called
coriander.
coriander.
Right, coriander. Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it'll grow the cilantro plant for you. And then there's fenugreek. Everyone familiar with fenugreek?
Uh-huh.
It's a legume. You can use it even if you don't eat it to build your soil. Just throw it on the ground in the spring. It germinates in 3 days. And after it's got a little bit of greenery to it, just turn it into your soil, and you've got all that nitrogen fixation going on. If you
Right.
have compacted soils like we have here in Georgia, we don't have soil in Georgia. We've got cement. You plant the fenugreek. It breaks the soil up. Your dandelions break the soil up. What else? Adrian,
Daikon radish.
daikon radish. Oh, break it up for a foot or more.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that's what we've been doing here is growing soil. But you get all that in an Asian market, cheap, cheap, cheap.
Yep. Sweet potatoes, yes.
Oh yeah, Charlie's growing Edo.
What is Edo?
It looks like an elephant ear, but you
Oh,
eat the tuber.
okay.
And have you seen the black elephant ears?
No. The leaves are black?
The leaves are black or eggplant purple.
Wow, no, I've never seen those.
That's cocoa yam from Africa, and it comes back every year. It might come back where you are, Adrian.
Ah,
It's beautiful in the
cocoa yam.
landscape. Cocoa yam.
Hmm.
Got it at the
Interesting.
farmer's market. Again, you got to go to a market that caters to Africa or Asia.
Is it a tuber or is it a seed?
It's a tuber. It's like a root, like a
Like a ginger type of thing?
it's bigger than that. It's about the size of a baking potato.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's called cocoa yam.
Cocoa yam. We also buy our horseradish that way, y'all, if you like to grow horseradish. But the first year I got it, I planted it up and down like you would a carrot. And I learned that's not the way to do it. You lay it on its side and it puts down roots.
Horizontal, yes.
Yeah. Well, these things we learn, right?
Right. Trial and error.
I'm glad you're enjoying our tips, Gina. FR, I love sweet potatoes, but I really tend to eat the leaves when it's growing.
Yeah, sweet potato leaves are good. Not everyone enjoys sweet potato leaves.
I don't know why they're delish.
They really are. I mean, you can enjoy almost anything if you cook it right or season it right or, just make it the right way that you would want it to taste.
Yeah. Well, horseradish in containers. Yeah, it'll grow in containers. You got to give it some depth, though.
Yeah, like a 20-gallon maybe.
Yeah, we did daikon radish, the Korean radishes, in large pots last year. It turned out really well. What's funny is when the radish reached the bottom of the pot, it started pushing the top up. And I pointed. I said, "I think that one's ready."
Oh no, the bugs enjoy the sweet potato leaves.
The bugs in Georgia ate. Oh, yeah. We're in Georgia, Eugenia. We're in Gwinnett County. Yeah, the gobos and
Gobo style pots.
that's burdock. Burdock root. Have you ever grown that?
No, I think it came as a volunteer though in my garden.
Yeah. If someone else grew it and it blew into your yard, the seeds are viable for 80 years, y'all.
I'm pretty sure it's in my garden and I can't get rid of it. Because I didn't know what it was and I let it grow and that was a mistake.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an aphrodisiac.
Really? Wow.
I'm pasting some information.
Gina's in Ohio. I didn't know you were in Ohio, Gina. I don't know why I didn't know you were in Ohio. Powerhouse antioxidants, burdock root has been shown to contain multiple types of powerful antioxidants. Okay. Removes toxins from the blood.
Yeah, Gina, that's why you want to cut the blooms and not let it blow in the wind like little umbrellas. Your neighbors will hate you. And once you got it in the neighborhood, it's there. It's like yellow root, yellow dock. Yeah. So
I got some borage seeds to plant this year.
My borage came up and then died.
Oh.
I had white borage and purple borage. It just didn't do well.
I got the purple. I'm gonna plant it. I'm gonna winter sow it.
Maybe that's an idea. Direct sow?
No, I'm gonna put them in milk jugs and put them out in the winter.
Oh, okay.
And then when spring comes, it'll just germinate on its own with no help from me.
Yeah.
It'll germinate on its own at the right time, and I won't have to put in any effort. Just sprinkle some seeds in a milk jug, tape it up, put it outside all winter long, let it just do its thing, and then in the spring it'll just germinate.
Have you ever eaten it?
No. Mm-mm. But I plan to use it. I want to try to make like, some tinctures or something with it.
It's supposed to taste like cucumber.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
So, well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I want to
Okay.
thank everyone for coming in. I think 2
Yeah.
hours is about what everyone's butt can take in one place, right? I'm going to try to do this twice a month, unless Adrienne sends me a note and says, no, Lisa, do it once a week. But she's my coach, my YouTube coach, and I really don't know what I'm doing with this channel, and I'm counting on her and a couple of other friends who are advising me. So I want everyone to have a good time. I want to be able to give you content that you enjoy. I'll be doing monthly giveaways, and that's Gail and Adrienne's fault. I think Gail left us. I'm not sure. But the giveaways are fun. I'm having a good time. Although one of the prizes I gave away this month was vanilla extract, and I have got to figure out how to mail that so it gets to them in one piece. But other than that, Gina, FR, everyone who came in, thank you so much. Let's do this in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try to keep it at Thursday at 8 o'clock, if that's a good time for everyone. And until next time, my sign off is we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.